Welcome to the Daily Edge. Marc Nudelberg. I am extremely excited to introduce you to Joy Lynskey. Joy is a dear friend, but even better, she's a seasoned entrepreneur. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a friend. She's an incredible community member, and she's going to tell us all about what it takes to build a business as a woman in the construction industry. Let's find her edge. Let's find our edge. That starts with our affirmation. I don't follow trends. I set tones. Vibrant color, human experience, and fearless details are what turn the mundane into memories. Joy, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thanks for being
having me.
Thanks for being here. Take us back to the start. So you're a Gator. You grew up with a wonderful family, Southern family. You're married to a sailor. So there's so many things. Give us how we got to this point thus far.
Okay, so real fast, as quickly as I can, I started out as a psychology major because I always wondered why people do what they do.
Obsessed with human behavior.
Yes, obsessed. So I wanted to study psych, and then I dated a guy in college who was a psych major, but he had already graduated, and he's like, "What are you going to do with that degree?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." It's just what I want to study. So he said, "Well, you're creative. You should look at interior design." I'm from a small town, Fort Pierce, Florida, and never heard of the profession. Mm-hmm. So I went to the department of interior design and met with the chair, and I made a switch and never looked back. And then fast forward it, so I'm a very proud Gator. I love the interior design program at UF specifically because it's very architecturally based versus decoration, all about surfaces.
Sure.
So after I had started JTI, and I can go more into that, but I reached out to UF to find rock stars that were in South Florida that were Gator grads, because I knew that type of designer would work well with me because we were kind of raised by the same parents, if you will. And they connected me to Jackie, which is now my business partner.
So I want to dive into something that you just said right now. It's architectural, not just design, not just surface level. It's structure, not just decoration. That's an unbelievable metaphor for running a business. It's an unbelievable metaphor for your life. So as somebody who's obsessed with human behavior, how does that differentiate you guys as an organization and as a business in understanding structure, not just design?
So architecture is, of course, based on foundation and understanding the foundation of a building. And, of course, all the systems that go with that. Right. So, everything from air conditioning to electricity, having an understanding of all that, which is, of course, the construction side. So at UF, it is design, construction, and planning is our college. So really, an interior designer who's understands that is really going to be able to create spaces that consider all of that. Now, when it talks about human experience, a lot of people are like, why do I hire an interior designer when I have an architect?
Right.
Because their license is supersedes us.
Yep.
But the truth is we just go about it differently because we think about the human experience and what the end goal is. How do you want people to feel in your space? And then once we understand that, we can reverse engineer.
So your passion for what you do is clear. The way you just said that, the way you presented it, it's obvious that you love it. Yes. What pushed you to do it on your own and leave working for somebody else and the security of a paycheck coming from another business?
Faith. for
Okay.
sure, because I didn't feel ready. I feel like nobody ever feels
Nobody's
ready.
ready.
It's kind of like you're never ready to have kids. Like you never have enough money. You never have everything figured out. So I was the daughter of an entrepreneur father, and he actually made me get a minor in business while I was at UF because he said, you probably will own a business one day. And I wish I had a minor in business. So that foundation really was always in my mind. And I always knew I wanted to.
So you did. You always had a desire to own a business.
Yes. Just because of the creation of it, I think.
Were you entrepreneurial as a young person?
Yes.
So like, were you like lemonade stands and like, are you like the true entrepreneurial story of like, I've been selling since I was 14. We hear that all the time with
like
entrepreneurs.
not necessarily. Well, yeah, I guess so. Like I would just sell like tickets to a dance show or tickets to
like your own dance show.
Yeah,
Like, have you ever read the book Busy Betty?
No.
Oh my God. So Reese Witherspoon wrote some books, children's books called Busy Betty. And like, it's all about being a young little girl entrepreneur.
Her, so.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I read them because of Jules.
Yeah.
But like, you should read them just as an adult because they're fun and cute. But like, that reminds me of the stories that she tells in there. Like, she puts on a circus at her house. She's her and her friends are performing in the house. And so like, she sells tickets to that show. So that's like, you're Busy Betty.
Yes, absolutely. Busy Betty. And then also.
What else did you sell as a little girl? I got to know.
I had an organization called the Animal Club.
Okay.
In 5th grade.
What did the Animal Club exist
The Animal Club was my best friends.
Okay.
But I was the president.
Okay.
And we all had one of my pets as like an animal because I had a lot of pets. I was kind of an only child. I'm the baby of 6, blended family, but I'm the only one in the house.
Yeah.
All they had already
Everybody
moved
was
out.
older, right?
Right. So we were getting together to help animals and raise money for the Humane Society.
Okay. Did you actually have any affiliation with the Humane Society?
No. I mean, I ended up...
So this is like a fraudulent business that you had?
I mean, I volunteered there later in life.
I love it.
But at the time, we just met, and the whole premise was just that we loved animals.
Right.
And like, I have a photo. I'll have to find you that photo.
Yeah?
Of all the Animal Club holding a different pet.
I would love to pop that up during the show. Like when you say like we had an Animal Club, boom, like insert image of Joy at the Animal Club. So you were entrepreneurial from a very young age. And then what was the inflection point that really pushed you to go, I got to do this for myself now?
I was absolutely miserable at my last company. And I think the biggest thing, well, it was twofold. I couldn't stand the way they treated clients, and I couldn't stand the way they treated employees, which is...
Yeah, it's 0 for 2. It doesn't sound like a great business.
The employees were so competitive with each other, like internally.
Yeah.
And it was just icky. Like it felt bad. And I just wanted to create a space where people really came together with the sole purpose of serving the clients fully. And then there was very little work-life balance, which is a whole nother thing we could talk about for easily 20 minutes.
Yep.
I believed that there was a way for employees to feel seen and heard and that also have a fulfilling life outside of work.
Sure.
And that's what I wanted to create.
And so that was the jumping point. But then what was some of the fear of like, number one, you had worked in a male-dominated industry for your entire career up to that point, and now you're like, I'm going to build my own business inside of this male-dominated industry. What was some of that? Like, how did you get over is this going to work?
I mean, the male-dominated, I didn't even realize. Like,
really?
Because a lot of interior designers are women.
Right.
My bosses were always men.
Right.
For the most part. But it was more... The biggest fear was because my husband, it was 2013, and my husband had started his business in January.
Wow.
So
both parents in the household becoming entrepreneurs at the same time, not even in the same business.
Not even close.
Each building their own business.
Yeah, and I looked at him, I'm like, this is crazy. One of us needs to not be signing the checks. Right, like, this is really, feels irresponsible. But Andy really pushed me, and he really encouraged me. He's like,
Right.
Now's the time. He's like, you can always get another job. And that was like,
That's not the greatest advice.
yeah,
Like
you're employable.
right.
Like nothing says you're not employable because you do this. And so, I mean,
That's Andy's the man. First of all, and for like, if you don't know Andy, you should definitely know Andy because he's just an awesome human being. But that little shift in your brain of just like, what's the worst that can happen? Failure sucks,
For sure.
right? Nobody wants to fail, but like, I'll just go get another job. That's my exact thought that I had when leaving college football. Was like, I can always come back.
right.
Like the jobs that I'm getting offered right now, I'll get offered again. I can do this again. I know this. I have a network. Why don't I just try?
I think
What's the
you
worst
say it
that
a lot.
happens?
Failure is not final.
Right.
And that's like a mantra for me. Maybe not so much then. It
Yeah.
felt so risky.
Right.
And it felt even more risky because I found out I was pregnant 2 months after starting the company.
Yikes.
Which was like,
So both parents are starting a business. You're pregnant.
Yeah.
And this is the seed of what is now a 12-year-old company.
12 on November
Wow,
1st. Yeah.
a 12-year-old company.
Saturday.
What's the foundation that has led you from, oh my God, I'm pregnant and I'm trying to build this business to 12 years later, you guys are a very successful organization working all over the country. What's the foundation of that success? Besides faith. I know you're going to say faith.
Yeah, I mean, faith for sure. But I think it's just like taking the shot, right? Like there's a Wayne Gretzky quote, like whatever about taking shots. And it is so true. Like you miss
100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes, that's it.
There
Thank
it is.
you. Thank you.
You got
and
it.
I think just go for it. Like at the end of the day, you have to go for it.
Yeah.
Whatever is like pulling you in any direction, like you need to trust that intuition and you need to go for it and believe in yourself. Like I don't know why, I haven't, to that point, I hadn't failed at a ton. Mm-hmm. I just hadn't. So like,
Right.
why did I think I was going to fail miserably at that?
That's human nature.
Yeah. But
That's
then,
human
of course,
nature,
the pregnancy
particularly when something
really
is scary. Right.
pushed
All of a
me.
sudden, when you feel the more obligation or the more responsibility, the more our brain wants to go like, oh, you can't do that.
And then,
Like-
so then I had to hire outside my comfort zone. I
Right.
had to hire super early because I wanted to spend time with the baby. And so that also, again, checked me. Like, you don't have to have 3 months operating costs. I'm like, I can't hire someone without 3 months operating costs.
Right.
Like, all these, like, rules,
Yeah.
self-imposed rules that I
Yep.
put on myself. And I just had to.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a choice, At least that's the way I saw it. And then, of course, that intentionally, like, I grew from 1 to 3 because my first hire was too green and I had to hire someone a little bit more seasoned.
Yeah.
So I went from 1 to 3 within the first year.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's crazy to look back at.
How did you figure out who you needed to hire?
Well, that's changed over time.
Well, in the first 3, though, right? You went from 1 to 3. You went from being a solo operator. You're building a business. You need help. But, like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with what should I hire for? Not necessarily the kind of person, but the actual job. Like, what do I delegate or what do I give to somebody else? How did you define that for yourself?
I think the biggest thing is, like, really getting clear on where you lack.
Got it.
Like-
so knowing what your strengths are and knowing what your weaknesses are.
Yes. Like, if anybody knows Jacqueline and I, like, she has strengths that I do not
Yeah, no,
have.
you guys are yin and yang. You guys
Very
are the
much so.
actual vision of yin and yang. It's unbelievable.
And it's awesome because we have a bit of both, right?
Right.
But, like, I knew I needed help with the implementation. So one of those first hires was a project manager who was very seasoned in making it happen. And that helped me to be the visionary,
Yeah.
continue to be the visionary.
Yep.
Which is still to this day, where my strong suit. Like
Yeah.
ideas, creation, like that's where I excel.
So I know you got your EOS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you're an EOS supporter. And I know that you just mentioned an EOS term, the visionary, but your dad made you get the business minor, right?
Yes.
Talk about the difference between your business minor and the way that prepared you to run a business versus then you get into the business and you're like, oh, I need more structure. I need this operating system. What's the difference between the college education preparation for running a business and then what's actually available to you with EOS? Or there's tons of consultants who can help you run your business. What's the difference between the two? Because I did not get a business degree, so I don't know anything about a business degree.
I mean, honestly, the thing with a business minor that I have, it's just such high level foundational knowledge, is it really just helps you with the conversational domain.
Got it.
Like, because there's words in business that you just don't understand. So from like the accounting standpoint, when the bookkeeper that I had hired in the early days helped me with my books, when she was talking to me, I could at least understand not fully what she was saying, but it wasn't nebulous. Like I could at least make sense of it.
Right.
So I think for the biggest thing, that's that. But from like a processes standpoint, like EOS is so beautiful because of the accountability and the process that it puts in place.
Right. It creates standards. It creates expectations. It creates an accountability system for you to be checking in with each other, whether it be visual scorecards or specific kinds of meetings, right? Like for me, when I read Traction coming out of football, I was like, oh, this is what I did every day.
Right.
Like, we had scorecards for everything. We watched video on everything. We met nonstop and constantly were giving feedback. So like, I was like, oh, he's just telling people how to run their businesses like a sports team. I was like, this makes a ton of sense, Like it clicked for me really easy, but it was eye-opening for me to realize like, oh, that's not just innate in the way that people run organizations. So as you've grown from being that, 3-person team, that 1-person team, 3-person team, to now you guys have 10?
7.
7. Mm-hmm. What's the biggest gap in that development of people in the business for you? What has been the biggest challenge for you guys?
In developing people?
And just the development of, like growing your people, right, as the organization grows, because as the revenue grows, then the projects grow, and, then all of a sudden people grow and responsibilities grow. What's been the biggest gap for you as like a leader of that in keeping up with that pace of growth?
I think that just getting everybody, alignment is massive, right? Like getting everybody, the buy-in. Mm-hmm. The accountability side is huge. People just don't stay with our company if they don't want to be accountable. Like, because it's just so in the lifeblood of our business.
How do you guys create that accountability in your business?
Well, after 90 days, we usually let people just, the first 90, like, see how it is, sink or swim kind of thing.
Yep.
But then, there's of course they're involved in meeting cadence with EOS and everything. But once you hit 90, after 90, we do something, and this is specific to JTI. It's not EOS. We do something called Powwow, quarterly Powwow. Mm-hmm. It's an all-day meeting. It's intensive.
Yep.
And after their first Powwow after 90 days, they have rocks. In EOS terms, that's a goal.
Yeah,
right. A goal, a quarterly goal. So they are given a rock, and that's where the rubber meets the road, because that means every single person has something they're accountable for working on the business, not in the business. Mm-hmm. So it's not just doing the work. It is literally like almost like getting outside your comfort zone, shaking things up, working with other departments to make sure that whatever that rock is or goal is, you're reaching that at the end of the quarter.
You're making progress towards that. That powwow, is there a specific agenda for it?
It is.
Yeah. It is? It's very, Can you share? Can you share that?
I can. So the first 5 minutes is usually a meditation, 3 to 5 minute meditation, just to like center us. We've got people coming from Miami, from commuting and stressed out, and kids and whatever. We want everybody to be where their feet are, which is what your dad's like. I love that saying. Like I say it all the time. Yeah. So then once you're centered or attempted to be, we do something called MEP. We take everybody's temperature. So you have to write, I'll start with E. Emotions, your emotional state, your mental state, and your physical state. And then the T is you write down thoughts. We do it for about a minute. We have little bubbles, and you literally write down, and it doesn't matter like I don't know if I closed the garage door.
Right.
Like, I don't
Right.
care. Just write down your thoughts, get
Yep.
it out. And that's just really good. We go around, people are free to share as they want. Typically, everybody shares because we're
Yeah.
so comfortable with each other. But it gets everybody in the place of where the other people are.
Yeah.
So you're in a connection emotionally, physically, and mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really great. So then we get into it. So the first half of the day is really spent on looking at the past quarter and like what worked and what didn't work. So we debate. I mean, it's a lot of
Open
debate.
for conversation.
And that is, so the context of Powwow is no titles.
yeah.
Like, I know I'm CEO, founder, don't add, I'm like, remove the significance. Like, this is the time where if something's not working, you
we
have
need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And openly,
That's awesome.
and not making people wrong.
Yep.
That's huge.
Right.
Like, what's working, what's not working. It's really just around the concept of integrity and performance.
But sometimes they are wrong, right? Like,
They are.
So I want to dive into that for a second because as leaders, we're always open to feedback, right? But then we get that feedback and you don't want to crush that person so that they stop giving you feedback, but they're wrong. Like, so how do you manage that? When that pops up as a leader, right? You don't want to say, hey, you're wrong. But you also have to correct them or you have to reorient them. How does it happen in that meeting when it happens?
I think it's not necessarily around the wrongness as the lack of ownership. So
Got it.
like getting on the court and getting like on the field.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
And like if you're not carrying the ball or
Yeah.
you're not participating and moving the ball down the field,
Yep.
then you are not in the game.
Yeah.
And so for me, like that is really what it's all about. And people will see it.
Yeah. Lack of ownership.
And people will really fast, like, because we do a whole like lessons learned. We pick 2 projects that have ended and we go through like what worked, what didn't.
Yep.
And then what have we learned? What do we want to change?
Yep.
Like in our processes moving forward to stop it from happening again.
Yep.
And that's a really just like it's a play. But it's also like people feel safe to share, like, I needed to be better about this.
Yeah.
And like, they're seeing that they're wrong. So
Yeah.
we don't have to make them wrong.
Yep.
And
That's ultimate accountability inside of an organization. If you have people that are willing to have the self-awareness to go, oh, I see it and I was wrong and I can be better, there's not a better culture in the world. I mean, I've been a part of big football teams. I've been a part of small businesses, big businesses. Like, there's no better culture than that, than having people that feel comfortable enough to be wrong, have the self-awareness enough to admit it when it's pointed out to them, or the humility and the self-awareness to be able to admit it, and then are willing to own that and try to change. Not everybody changes. It's, it's work, it's hard, but so I have 2 more questions for you. Mm-hmm. One is there anything more important than accountability?
I mean, I would say authenticity.
Okay.
Like showing up
As you. Which, if that doesn't happen inside of your business, I'm assuming that your people are escorted out then?
They usually self leave.
They self-select. You know what? This is not the right fit for me.
Yeah, there's a rub.
Okay.
There's a rub for people that don't. And even if we create the space and they're not ready to show up, because that happens too.
Right.
People have to want it.
Right.
They don't. They want to take off the fleece.
Right. In my opinion, there's 2 kinds of like. I feel comfortable enough in my own skin to just be authentic. I have that confidence in myself, or I feel safe enough in the environment that I can do that, right? Like,
which is 2 things, right?
And some people lean more towards I need to feel safe in order to do it. Some people have the confidence just to be able to do it. But either way, you got to fit into one of those boxes for you to fit at JTI. I lied. There's 2 more questions after this.
That's okay.
Okay, the second one is you talk about work-life balance. There are a lot of entrepreneurs that will tell you, we've had people on this show that say, don't ask me about work-life balance. If you ask me about work-life balance, you're exited from the building immediately.
Oh,
right?
like their employees?
Yeah, like if you
I think that's shitty.
So talk to me about how you still lead a successful business while allowing employees and yourself to have work-life balance.
Well, first of all, I want to make a distinction between
Yes.
work-life balance and work-life harmony.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's my preferred phrase.
Okay.
Because as a recovering perfectionist and
Yep.
type A person,
All right. I love that.
when I hear balance, I visualize a scale and I visualize a balanced.
Yep.
And like for me, that is never going to exist ever. Ever, 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 ever. Not for one day, not for 1 minute. So that has to be cleaned up.
Right. No balance.
There's no balance. So
Proper adjusting
exactly.
based on priority.
And I feel like it's harmony.
Yeah.
So that why I like harmony is like you think of music notes in a song. The different notes come in at different times, some more in more proportion.
Yep.
Or the ingredients in a recipe.
Yep.
Different proportions. That's what makes it so beautiful and
Yep.
so delicious.
Yep.
So really, if you think about it like that for life, like that's what. So when you switch to work and life, so you are who you are.
Yep.
Same human, and especially if you demonstrate integrity, you show up at work and at home. Like you're not an amazing leader and then kicking the dog and beating the wife, like or husband.
Right. Or at least you shouldn't be.
Right.
Anyway.
Like it's gonna,
Right.
you know,
If you're
sun's
true
gonna-
to your core values, you're living those values in every aspect of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I guess I don't know if that kind of like.
Well, so my question is how do you balance that inside of your business by being very clear on what the priorities are and what the expectations are, and then allowing people to be able to communicate when they need to fluctuate? Like you make people feel comfortable with saying, "Hey, I'm willing to hear you." Is that right?
So one thing in EOS is GWC. Gets it, wants
Yep.
it, has the capacity.
Yes.
So that's all about capacity.
Yep.
Like this is what is being asked of you. Mm-hmm. Do you have the capacity?
Yeah.
And that takes the confidence and the safe space
Yep.
to show up and say, yes, no, I don't. I cannot get this done by this time.
And you're okay with that because you're open to either helping them figure out how to get it done, right, and help coach them in that, or being self-aware to go, oh, you know what, you do have too much, and I can take some of that to help in this particular situation.
Yeah, or what tools do you need?
Right.
What training do you need? That's one solution, or it's delegation,
Right.
or it's all of us, and that's why I love the non-competitive nature of our culture is all of us coming together to get this done together, you know?
Excellent. So my last question is what we ask every guest that comes on. It's actually something new that started, but the show is called The Daily Edge, right? So my question to you is, how do you find your edge every day?
Oh gosh.
You're an entrepreneur. You've been successful. You've sustained past many benchmarks where entrepreneurs don't. You're married for many years. You have a wonderful relationship with your husband. You're a great mother. I love your kids. They're nut jobs that run all over my house. It's a blast to have them around. However people define success, I think they can look at you and go, you're living that. How do you do it on a daily basis? How do you find your edge on a daily basis?
So I am a Christian, and I believe that Christians are called for excellence. And excellent for me is the 1% better. So like, what can I do? How can I show up today better than yesterday?
Yes. That is a simple, crisp answer, which I love that it points back to our 1% better every day, but it is from her mouth, finding just that little bit to get better every single day. Thank you for being on the show, Joy. Thank you for sharing with us your foundations of success and how to find your edge. Let us know how you find your edge every single day. We'll see you next time.